of these. And the goal of this document is to leave with you. It has a will of its own, and its will is to leave with you. And as we talk about what's happening at St. Barnabas in this presentation, the directions for how to do anything are on this sheet. That's why this is so important. So we won't be saying contact so-and-so. We won't do all of that on the presentation. All the contact information for everything we're talking about, at least we hope if we did it well, is on this sheet. And always you can call the office and get help. And by the way, just for you to know, in case you ever wondered about this, I can't find anything. I call the office all the time. So just for you to know, it's okay to do that. All right. Then, so I want to start with a thank you to our staff team and all the teams that the staff have to help them. When you do something like Welcome Sunday, and as a staff, we say, what do we all want to talk about? What's important? Where are we? Where are we going? How are we going to get there? It invites me yet again to see all the ministry and all the service and all the partnership and the discipleship at St. Barnabas. And so I just really want to say, would you join me in saying thank you? And for the breakfast team, this is a church of amazing discipleship. And so I want to highlight that and again, thank you to our breakfast team. So at St. Barnabas, we say our mission is to make disciples or making disciples. And I wrote an article recently about that in our Mockingbird. And so you should be able to find it on our website. And the reason I'm saying this is that a lot of times people ask me, what's a disciple? And so I just parse that out based upon the person. So I want you to hear, this is really important. So a disciple is someone who draws near to Jesus, and in drawing near to Jesus begins to be infused with Jesus's spirit, to be awakened, to be opened, to be born again and again and again, to be inspired, and the movement of the Spirit in our lives, emerging from our innermost being, this Spirit infusing us from within. It's a movement of bringing us to peace, calming our distress, really being touched by the love of God, calming our distress, a lifetime of healing and renewing and making well and experiencing love, and then moving us out into ministry, moving us out into why I was made. Who am I really? I want you to hear that for just a moment. What's the real truth of me? Maybe not who I think I'm supposed to be or who so-and-so thinks I'm supposed to be. Who is this really? Oh, my Lord. Right? Who am I really? And what am I called to do? And that's the part I want you to hear. Because at a place like St. Barnabas, there's all kinds of things. And what we want you to find is what's the place for you? Where are you called? And we talk about the 5 ways of discipleship. If you'll pull out your little flyer on this side, on the left-hand panel, the 5 ways of discipleship. So what I want you to understand is this is not that something that everybody's supposed to check off that I've done all the 5 ways. It's just ways of describing what disciples do. And each of us needs to find where we belong in there. Not as something to achieve, but where I'm inspired and what gives me joy and where I'm fed and what lights me up when I do it. And so find myself in these 5 ways of discipleship, and all the ways we're going to talk about, you can engage them at St. Barnabas. And there's one thing I'm going to say to you this morning, I think, about sacrifice as a disciple. I think I'm going to do that. I'm waiting to see what the Holy Ghost says to me. I think I'm going to do that. Beyond that, my normal approach and what I think is Jesus's approach is what gives us joy. What gives us joy? What gives us joy? What is it that I am gifted to do and called to do? And I know it because when I do it, I feel fruitful and I feel fulfilled. This is what I've been given to do. Does that make sense? So this presentation wants to invite you to ponder that. So next slide, I think. All are welcome. Excellent. By the way, I preached to this morning. All are welcome, all are welcome, all are welcome. Start with what it means to welcome yourself, and then to let yourself be welcomed. And then as that matures, how you're a part of this welcoming community. And I'll preach to this morning to fill that out a little bit. But you all know that's one of our profound aspects of our culture at St. Barnabas, that all are welcome. And that doesn't just mean welcome to sit in the pews. That means welcome to own the mission and ministry of St. Barnabas. What's our motto? I love it. Yes. So I have this profound sense of welcome, that I lay hold of something. If this is to be at St. Barnabas, it is up to me. I lay hold of that. And that's then it's your church. All are welcome all the way to the center, that it's your church. Next slide. Oh, so we're throwing this in as a thank you to the staff. Don't you love it? That's a representative slide of the staff at, that was a summer, and that was the Messy Arts Camp that we had. And would you go back to it? I left early to clean up. I looked like that too at one point. All right, thank you, Robin. Next slide. And so all of this is a growing in intimacy with God. Discipleship is a lifetime of growing in intimacy with God. That's the way Thomas Keating describes it. And that's the way our tradition has always described it. At the heart of Benedictine spirituality, which is where our prayer book comes from, is a life of growing in intimacy with God. And so all that I just talked about is about growing in intimacy with God. All right. Next slide, please. Listening till the listening starts. So 5 years ago, we began a listening program at St. Barnabas. We've carried it on. We stopped during the pandemic, and we've had several different iterations of it. This fall, we're launching a whole nother iteration of our listening program. And it's taking it to the next level. So there are 4 all-day Saturdays, starting with the topic of climate change. I always get the language wrong. Climate change, gun violence, abortion, and racial reconciliation. And each one of those programs will invite guest speakers, guest presenters, to talk about the topic from a different perspective. So far we have that in place, and we think we're going to do that. And then those topics are just a topic of discussion. That's the program's not really about those topics. It's about listening. But we're going to practice listening, learn to listen, go deep in listening around these topics. And I want you to, I'm going to say it. I know all day Saturdays a lot. Sometimes disciples are asked to make sacrifices. I want you to think about what this program means. Now, I don't imagine everybody's going to do all 4 Saturdays. Each one will add new learning. But if you can, do as much as you can. It's the profound gift and the timing of this in the church and in the world is huge. It's not just the world that's divisive, the church is divisive. Somebody say yes. We're experiencing it all over the place. So how can we be different? Is there a different way? So now I'm going to whet your appetite. In the announcement, it talks about the power of the pause, the secret of the magic of a good question, and the secret of curiosity. So we're going to learn a lot of things. I want to talk a little bit about, just briefly, 2 of these, the power of the pause. So there you are. You're just standing around somewhere, and somebody just often says, I just can't believe all this stuff about climate change. Don't they know The earth has been heating and cooling from the beginning of time, and that's what this is. And this is all just junk science. And you're someone who's thinking, when did this person get off the boat? That's what you're thinking, right? So what it means, I want you to hear this now, to be able to say, yeah, and just pause. Just pause. Make it safe for that person to tell you more. Now, here's a deep corollary to this. Saying yes is not saying yes to their opinion. It's saying yes to their right to have one. And when we do that, we fulfill our baptismal covenant. We respect the dignity of that person. And as we listen more, we help them empty their heart. Watch the distress level go down. Now, by the way, you might be, this is part of what the program helps us to understand. You might be going crazy inside. I mean, you might be going nuts. So how do I set all of that aside so that I can just be with this person? And this is where the secret of curiosity can really be helpful. To learn to intend to become genuinely curious about this person. Why do they think this? What's all this energy behind it for them? What's the pain for them? What's their story? Just begin to get curious, and it will help you let go of your investment in your opinion and all that you think about and all that you care about. The goal being to solve nothing. The goal being to respect the dignity of this person. Let them feel heard and understood. Let them empty their heart. And then, especially as we learn this practice and learn to do it well. And by the way, it's easy to learn the concept I'm giving you now. It's not easy to do it. I'm watching some of the people who've been in the program shaking their head. It takes practice, practice, practice. And as we learn, watch people walk away with a measure of healing. And they'll tell you, people will say, wow, I've never had somebody listen to me like that. I've never felt so listened to and so heard. And there's a chance that they'll say to you, what do you think about this? And when you do, you don't start with, well, I disagree. And you start with, wow, I'm just so grateful for you sharing, you're opening yourself to me. Thank you. It's challenging and there's lots of thoughts about it. Wait and see if they want to know more. So, okay, I'm going to stop now. But this program will help you in a dozen ways in being able to do that. So you'll leave the program walking out into the world feeling confident you can be in a conversation about any topic and be a healing, reconciling, uniting presence rather than a dividing presence. Our world desperately needs it. And again, I know on All Day Saturday is a lot to ask. This is one of those times when I want to say to you that I think this is a program that is desperately needed, and that maybe we would choose to make sacrifice to be there for this program. All right? Okay. So, at the heart of Episcopal life is worship. And at St. Barnabas, we always say worship and music because music is such a big part of our worship life. And we do these things at 9 o'clock on Sunday, so I'm sorry the choir can't be here, but I think they know we love them, and I think they know we appreciate them. And so the life of St. Barnabas invites all of us not just to come to worship, but to find the ways that we can participate in making worship happen. So whether it's a greeter, whether it's an usher, whether it's a reader, whether it's a lay Eucharistic minister, whether it's being on the altar guild, by the way, whether it's cleaning up the pew racks after church on Sunday, there's all kinds of ways we can be a part of the worshiping life of the church. And to grasp that, and again, I'm sorry. When we gather for worship, we reconstitute ourselves as Jesus's body, as the people of God in Jesus's body. That's sort of a mystical thing to say, but if you just think about it for a moment, whenever the family gets together for Thanksgiving, they reconstitute themselves as a family, right? This is our family. This is who we are. When we get together for Christmas, when family reunion, and we all know this is who we are. This is our family. This is who we are. So when we come together at church, it's a regathering of who we are as God's people, and at this Jesus's body, at the center of that, we're all drawing near to this presence of Jesus, and then we transmit Christ to one another. As we come to peace, we transmit peace to one another. As we experience this infusion of the Spirit and this infusion of life, we transmit that to one another. And so it's at the very heart of all that we are as Episcopalian. It's the starting place when we think of who are we and what have we been given to do. The starting place is gathering in the worship of God, reconstituting ourselves as the people of God. And interestingly, the New Testament encourages us to be diligent, to worship together. And then in our life at St. Barnabas, we're encouraged, all of us, to find the ways that we can be a part of that worshiping community, that we can help serve and help make it happen. And so, but by the way, we're taking pictures of your presence here this morning, and I'm going to be tapping you on the shoulder to asking you to do things, all right, for the worship of the church. I love it. So in the last few years, we've had wait a minute. Oh, I'm so sorry. Concerts. I should talk about concerts. So concert series, the tickets they're on your table, aren't they? No, they're not. I'm sorry. So tickets for the concert series this year is on the patio. And hang on just one second. We're doing Mozart Solemn Vespers. We're doing Dan Forrest Requiem for the Living. The Phoenix musical community will join us in that concert. And we're bringing back Amal and the Night Visitors. Y'all remember that? That was really fun, wasn't it? We're bringing back Amal and the Night Visitors. So the tickets for the concert series are on sale on the patio, and you can get a ticket for one or for the whole season. So I want to encourage that. All right. So where I was going to is the last several years, we've done a missions festival. This year, we're changing that to Missions and Ministries Festival. So October 30th, after church, isn't that a fun group of kids? I'm going to have more to say about the children's program, but October 30th, after church, we'll have a missions, all the ministries of St. Barnabas and Missions Festival, and that'll give you an even closer look, a hands-on experience with the people doing that and the ministries themselves, how you can support it and how you can be a part of it. Both the ministries of St. Barnabas and all the missions that we have. We have now 14 missions partnerships. Yeah, 14. Isn't that cool? 14 different ways you can be hands-on involved in serving the needs of the world. Now, I want to bring to your attention one more, and it's from our bishop. How many of you get the bishop's weekly epistle? Very sweet. Isn't that? I love it. Thank you. So if you had a chance to read it, the bishop in her epistle this week talks about a partnership she's trying to create with the Bishop of Kenya, a region of, is it the whole country or a region? I can't remember. It's a region of Kenya. She's trying to create a partnership. And she's trying to do that in two ways. One of them is July of 2023. So this next July, the bishop is seeing if there's enough interest in a trip. We take a trip to go visit the Bishop John and his diocese in Kenya. It's sweet, isn't it? Secondly, their clergy are not paid, and to support paid clergy would cost $160 a month. So the bishop asks us in the epistle to join up and to support clergy. And there are no children in the room. There's a great need around female genital mutilation in Kenya. It is a very, very serious problem. And part of this initiative is to have pastors more and have them available to go and try to change this custom. Like 96% of the girls experience this. I mean, it's just, so the bishop is deeply moved by this. at the last Lambeth conference, she had a chance to meet this bishop and really liked him and wants to create a partnership and wants to build a relationship. So she's asking the diocese to do that. And I haven't talked with the senior and junior warden yet, but I'm going to bring to our vestry proposal to maybe support 2 of these clergy for a year. That we'll see if we can do that at St. Barnabas with resources we have. And then I want to invite all of you to be aware this is potentially a new mission initiative for St. Barnabas in partnership with our bishop. So, all right. Somebody say amen. Amen. Thank you. I worry about saying too much. So St. Barnabas does support all of our mission partnerships financially, but that's not our emphasis. Our emphasis is hands-on. That's why you see people here. It's hands-on engagement with people who are hurting, because that's what changes us. It connects us, it builds relationship, it changes us. Interestingly, when I was in seminary, I went to Fuller Seminary in Pasadena, which at the time was the largest seminary in the world, and one of its focus was world mission. And we had a lot of students there from around the world. And I had a couple of student friends who were from Africa, and they said to me, Jim, don't send money, come. Come. Build relationship with us, be with us. So that applies to what the bishop is asking for, but it applies to all of our mission ministries. The transformative power of being with people who are hurting, who are suffering, who are oppressed, who are greatly in need, to be with them becomes, all of you involved in missions ministry, when you're going to say yes to me, it changes us, doesn't it? It makes all the difference in the world. So I commend to you these 14 mission partnerships. Look for the ways you can be involved in them such that you have a sense of touching the needs in a personal way. Parish life at St. Barnabas. Huh. Don't you love that picture? Can you see it? Yeah, that's a sweet picture. I just love it. So building community at St. Barnabas is not typically, in the main, we don't do things to just build community. We do activities, all the ministries, all the activities, all the service projects, all the ways we're together. That's what creates our parish life, our being together. And again, the whole culture of all are welcome, the whole culture of relationship, the whole culture of it's all about people builds that deep sense of parish life. Does that make sense to you? Really? Yeah, okay, good. Enough. And so we do have sages, and we do have Broadway Bash, coffee hour, Tuesday morning women's group, the Friday morning men's group. We do have book club. We do have centering prayer groups. We do have the Art of Engaging Holy Scripture groups. We do have altar guild gatherings. There's just all kinds of ways that you can be a part of the parish life of St. Barnabas. And then there's one other thing we do, and I've been asking you this lately, and so far no one's told me I made them feel too bad. We wear name badges. And so I want to, and by the way, it's really wonderful. I've had all kinds of people come up and say to me, look at my name badge, look at my name badge. And by the way, we ordered name badges and they got lost, right? Yes. So the mail lost them. We didn't lose them. But we're working on it. I want to say thank you. It's such a big help to all of us. And it adds to the sense of relationship and making connection. You know, I see people all the time. I know them, and my brain's going, now, what's their name? What's their name? What's their name? So we're helping each other, right? Okay. Strengthens parish lives. So, youth at St. Barnabas. Of all the things parents want, so we used to say, we used to call it teenage rebellion. And in my day, we did. That's what we called it. Over the course of time, I learned, no, it's teenage differentiation, right? That our children need a way to differentiate from us as they start to taste adulthood. They think they're fully adult. We know better, but they need a place to differentiate. And of all the things parents want, it's a safe place for their child to differentiate. And that's one of the great strengths of the St. Barnabas Youth Ministry. And there's all kinds of ways that the youth meet. We have a terrific confirmation program, all kinds of activities. They're very involved in mission ministry. By the way, youth were involved in serving breakfast this morning. There's all kinds of ways that their involvement with us is intergenerational, but all of that is providing for them their own community, their place to be on their own, making their own decisions, investing their life, feeling powerful, feeling like they matter, feeling like they have something meaningful to do with their lives. Make sense? Youth is all about that at St. Barnabas. So again, look for ways you can support our youth members. And there you see the youth with some of the leaders of the program, Lindsay Esterbrooks and Jim Newman. So as you look on your what you call it, and by the way, and if you come to the Missions Festival, look for the ways you can participate in youth ministry. By the way, programmatically, they have a big emphasis on developing their community. They nurture the children in relationship with Jesus. They nurture the children and the youth, I should say, in practices of prayer and worship and spirituality. Then they have all kinds of ways that youth are involved in mission ministry and in serving the broader community. By the way, you see them as acolytes, and you see them as readers, and you see them as communion ministers. Yes? Yeah, it's huge in our life. So again, go back to my opening statement. If that floats your boat, then find ways to be with us and supporting the youth ministry at St. Barnabas. So now I want to jump to children. So we've been having a Wednesday night children music program and family program. And this year we expanded that and we call it, what do we call it? Help me. Wednesday family night. And so there's more programming for the parents and the adults while we have music program and other programming for children. We started last week. We had 43 children on the playground. How about that? Thank you. And one parent commented, you would never have seen 43 children on the old playground. So just a great kudo to the wonderful work of welcoming the neighborhood and upgrading all of our children's spaces, the whole children's building, and then the children's playground. Yes, yes. So the programming, again, it includes music for children beginning at 3 years old and on up. They were actually having a meditation class for children. Isn't that sweet? Meditation program for children. I could talk about that a long time, but I won't do that. And then we have, for the parents, we have a prayer service in the chapel, and we have a happy hour for them to fellowship together and programming for them. And then, of course, that's the same night when the adult choir meets. So the grounds, the buildings, and life of St. Barnabas is full on Wednesday night. Come again? Oh, yeah, and of course, thank you, Mary Beth. We prepared dinner and we cleaned it up as well. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, that's great. All right. So moving on to pastoral care. Oh, wait. You guys are already looking at that. That's okay. Okay, pastoral care. So I don't know when it was, but when Father Phil was here and he and I were partnering in pastoral care and talking with each other and talking with the teams that do pastoral care, we're all just visiting, and we all realized our real mission is that no one suffers alone at St. Barnabas. That's the mission of the pastoral care ministry, is that no one suffers alone. And so that's been at least a dozen years ago that we began to articulate it that way. And so we've developed all kinds of ministries. one of the most important one is Community of Hope, which is a 10-month training program. Am I right about that? It's a 10, say it again, 12-week training program for to learn to be a lay chaplain for anyone in need. And it's primarily at St. Barnabas, but elsewhere as well, where we're trained and prepared to go and be with people who are hurting, who need prayer, who need to be visited, need someone to talk to, need St. Barnabas to come close to them. It has been an astonishing ministry. And then in the pandemic, it always had this, but it advanced it even more. In the pandemic, we began a card writing ministry so that we write cards to, so they receive phone calls if we can't go visit them, and then they receive cards. And its network has just reached out into all of the life of St. Barnabas. So again, your sheet will tell you how you could be, if you feel called to serve in that way, and how you can be a part of that. I mean, your sheet will give you contact information, how you can be a part of Community of Hope or the Healing Prayer Ministry in church on Sunday. We need others to help us there, pray with people who need prayers. And we also have the Order of St. Luke. And again, details about this are on your sheet. All the ways you can be a part of the pastoral care in the life of this community. So faith formation for adults. Sunday mornings at 9 o'clock, we have what we call conversations. And typically that's a topic led by one of our clergy, and it's a discussion, a conversation around that topic with members of St. Barnabas. This past year, I think, was the first year we kept that going during the summer. Am I right about this? It was the first time we did that. Reverend Jennifer and Reverend Robert have been the key leaders of that. And I've just had a lot of you come tell me how meaningful those conversations are and how valuable they are. So this fall, in the October, I'll be doing a study on the book of Philippians, and that'll follow the Art of Engaging Holy Scripture model. So we'll have discussion groups and faith sharing groups, and we'll spend probably 5 or 6 weeks on the book of Philippians. And then Reverend Jennifer and Reverend Robert will continue to do conversations before the first couple of weeks. They'll be doing it, and then we'll do Philippians, and then they'll carry it on afterwards. Then additionally, of course, faith formation of St. Barnabas includes EFM, that's Education for Ministry, which is a 4-year program in learning the history, the theology, and scripture study of the church during 4 years. It's a fantastic study program. People have really benefited from it and enjoyed it, so I commend that to you. And then we have a very rich contemplative programming at St. Barnabas. We call it the Contempt of Life, and that includes an introduction to the method of centering prayer, Christian meditation called Centering Prayer. There's sweet Liza and Debbie. And it includes, so we do a Saturday workshop and 5-week session on learning the method of centering prayer for Christian meditation. We do that twice a year. Then we have centering prayer groups that meet. Debbie, could you tell me real quick, they meet what days of the week? Monday morning, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Friday morning. We have centering prayer groups at St. Barnabas. Typically the 4th Saturday of the month, we have a quiet day every month. We have 3 retreats, 1 in the fall and 2 in the spring, just really all about deepening our intimacy with God, growing in intimacy with God, growing our prayer life. I want to commend all of those to you. So, any questions so far? Good. Okay. So I have an interesting statement here from our communications team. Amy DeCalson wanted to be here this morning, but she's not feeling well and not able to do that. And so it's really funny when we start thinking about how do we talk about communications. The challenge is communications touches everything. The communications department, its job is to communicate everything about St. Barnabas. And so it becomes very challenging. So I just have a simple statement about that for you. Our communications team exists to amplify the spirit of St. Barnabas by reflecting, supporting, and growing our culture. We are moving to a story-led model of communicating. You can find fresh stories of parish life on the new blog on our homepage. How many of you know we have a blog on our homepage? Would you, if you know, would you raise your hand high? Thank you. Okay. So you can see we're in a process of transition to this new blog. Now, here's where I needed you to hear this. We want you to share your stories, photos, and videos with us and be a part of sharing St. Barnabas. Let me say that again. We want you to share your stories, your photos, your videos to help us share the story of St. Barnabas by our blog and by our social media all throughout. You can this is so funny. I'm going to read this. I don't have any idea what it means. I have a vague notion of what it means, but you can click the QR code. How many of you know how to do that? Oh, God bless you. I'm so glad I'm the only dumb one in the room. You can click the QR code or go to our website to stop and drop content. You know what that means? How many? Okay. Okay. So questions, contact Amy DeCalson, our communications manager. She wanted to be here this morning to do this, but she can't be here. But so we're making a transition so that we're telling the story of St. Barnabas. So that we're telling stories. You are St. Barnabas. It's your stories that we want to share with the world. And you guys, it's just powerful. The stories are powerful. We know them, especially the staff and the clergy. You come tell us. We want to be able to share that with the world and inspire people to come and check out St. Barnabas. Maybe this will be a place for them when they hear the stories of what's happening here. Life-changing things, healing things, deeply touching things, how we're being awakened to God, etc. Okay? And again, I think your sheet tells you how to do this, and you can just contact Amy DeCalson, you can call her, or you can email her. Right.
Yeah, it's real simple. You just stop and take minutes.
Heather says it's very simple. Stop and drop is really simple, and it goes straight to Amy. Thank you. Okay, cool. No, I love it. I love it. I love it. So, Tom, did you have a question? I do not know. Amy knows. I do not know. It's on the homepage. Do you know how to get to the homepage? I barely do. I'm being facetious. Of course I do. I go there often. All right. All right. I do. I promise. I do. I do. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But you have to scroll down to find the blog. I just recently found it. Hang on. I want to make sure I've not lost something. Yes, sir.
I don't think the blog's on the mobile homepage.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Don thinks the blog is not on the mobile homepage, so we'll take a note about that. Thank you, Don. That's good data for us. Okay. So I'm just going to segue by the way, any questions? Again, the goal of this was to help you in your discipleship, help you grow in being infused with the Spirit, help you grow in being welcomed and owning the mission and ministry of St. Barnabas, help you know how you can be connected, go deep, and then at the same time serve and give your life and be a part of the mission and ministry of St. Barnabas. Any questions? You're good with this? Okay, all right. So now I want to give you a brief welcoming the neighborhood update. And our senior warden, Don Henniger, has been close to this, and he gave me the data. I think I can do this, but if I mess it up, Don, you'll help me? Okay. So I'm going to trust everybody in the room knows what the Welcoming the Neighborhood project and campaign is. Yes, I'm going to presume we all know that. We launched the campaign with a goal of $6.8 million. We've had 2 phases of giving for the campaign, and we've received commitments of $4.5 million. So obviously that doesn't reach our goal, but it's enormous generosity. And we're really excited about what we can do with $4.5 million. Secondly, a caveat to that, that original ask included a lot of debt financing because the commitments go over 5 years, and we thought we would do all the work up front before we receive the money, and so we'd need a lot of debt financing. But of course, we haven't done it that way because of the pandemic. So our need is a little significantly less than that 6.8 million. But still, the vestry has met and started to make priorities about what we can do with the $4.5 million. And then the cost of some of the project went up pretty significantly. Again, the consequence of the pandemic and all that's been going on. So the costs have gone up. We're still in the process of evaluating the increase of those costs. And soon the vestry, we've gotten a lot of data, but it's premature to share it with you right now because it's not complete data yet. We're still collecting information, and we think we're within a couple of months of being able to give the parish a full report of where we are and the vestry's selection of priorities for what we would do with the gifts you have given to us or commitments you have made. And then our hope is to re-engage the construction project as soon after Easter as possible. So probably in May of 2023. Is that good enough? Okay. Any questions about that? Come again? Okay. Thank you. Let me say a little more then about that. So first of all, we did the Children's Center, which was $1.5 million. And someone say yes again. I mean, it's fantastic. So we have roughly $3 million left. 1 million of that was the fundraising campaign for the parish hall, which primarily was the kitchens and the bathrooms. And we think we can do that. We think we can do the kitchen and the bathrooms, refurbish Hutton Hall. We had hoped to do some video conferencing and a little bit of landscape work around it. We probably, at least at this stage, we can't do that, Mary Beth. But we think we have enough to do the primary plan for Hutton Hall, which is the kitchen and the bathrooms. Then that's $1 million. Then the other 2 million was for the parking lot. It was for lighting. It was for monument signs in the front drive. It's for the perimeter, redoing the landscaping around the perimeter, and then some interior landscaping. We probably can't do all of that. The parking lot especially is what's gone up in cost. And so we probably can't do all of it, but that's where the vestry is going to take that under advisement and decide the priorities. Now, then the goal would be, once we've decided what we can do, to start construction after Easter of 2023. So that's May of 2023, Mary Beth. Is that good enough? Okay. Okay. And the video conferencing we can't do in the parish hall is not insignificant. Some of the landscaping we wanted to do and we would probably not do where we are now is not insignificant. We're very challenged to do the parking lot. The parking lot is somewhere between 35 and 50 years old. If we don't do it, we'll spend a good chunk of money on a patchwork for the parking lot that would last about 5 years. And then we have to come back and do the whole parking lot. So a lot of things to consider around that. So there's every chance your rector might be tapping you on the shoulder and saying, could you help us do more? That might be happening. Okay. And I want to, please don't mishear me. Thank you so much for your generosity. It's remarkable. $4.5 million of generosity is huge. And there might be a few people that perhaps could help us get some of these other things done. We're open for that happening. So hadn't happened yet, but we're open to it. And by the way, this is just me trying to be transparent with you. So, okay. Questions? Questions?
Jim,
Yes, sir.
I have a question from Zoom.
Yes.
Will there be a 1021 service?
Great question. Almost got away with it. So, again, I want to tell you the truth. I mean, not that I wouldn't tell you the truth. I want to be transparent. Your staff are exhausted. It's just hard to grasp what the pandemic cost us. It's hard to grasp the amount of energy, the anxiety, the stress, what it's taken. And we work hard, as you guys work hard to care for us. Please don't hear me ever say anything but that. You are remarkable. And still there's a lot that's being asked of us. And so as a staff, we try to take care of each other, and we try to partner, and we try to do it together. But we've acknowledged that there are some things we just can't do yet. It's just a bridge too far. So we would like to bring back the 1021 worship service, and we would like to bring back the 6 p.m. worship service. We just did an evaluation analysis of the attendance of those, and frankly, they both had enough attendance to warrant giving them a try. It's just our energy level isn't there yet to get to it. And a lot of times people say, well, just can the lady do it? There's a lot the lady can do. You can't create a worship service for us. So it can't be done without clergy and without staff and without promotion and without communications and without recruiting. You understand? It just doesn't just happen like that. So we want more worship opportunity for our church. We want that. And the 1021 and the 6 p.m. were both services that people enjoyed and wanted. So we're looking at it. Fair enough, team? Do you have more? Okay. Are you sure? There's a.
I want them back.
Okay, you want them back too? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we do. We got to find the time and the energy and the wherewithal to bring them back. So, okay. Thanks for the question. Please, all questions are welcome, really, please. Any questions? Okay. So let's one more time say thank you for the kitchen team, the breakfast team. Can we say thank you? Let's go worship the Lord. Amen.
Amen.